This video is gonna be spoilerific. You have been warned. Hi, I'm Nadine Thornhill, sexuality educator. On Friday, I got to see Avengers Endgame. I loved it. In my opinion, the less you know about this specific movie going into it, the better I think your experience will be. I would recommend going back and watching as many MCU movies as you can if you haven't seen them before, and at least watch Infinity War. But yeah, for this movie, I think going in cold is ideal. So, if you want to leave, go watch the movie and then come back and watch this, I'll be here. Before I get into the questions and conversation prompts for kids, I just wanna kind of geek out and talk about the movie in and of itself because I thought it was fantastic. Now, Black Panther will always be my favorite MCU movie because it's Black Panther, but this is definitely like a close second, verging on a tie. I thought it was really well done, especially considering everything this movie sort of had to do as a wrap-up for this phase of the MCU. The final battle was probably my favorite battle scene of any movie I've seen. The moment when all the heroes returned from, the ones who had been dusted during the snapping, that should have been the most predictable moment in the movie. We have all known since last year in Infinity War that they were coming back. But for me, that moment was triumphant and moving. Like, I had chills, I had tears, I was cheering. I was so loud during this movie, and I am not a loud moviegoer, but I couldn't help it. Like, I was cheering, I was clapping, I was yelling, and it wasn't just me, it was the entire theater. It was a time. Now that my son is older, we go see Marvel movies on opening weekend together as a family. It's really fun. It also gives us opportunities to talk about, some of the themes and ideas and different scenes. Endgame does not have any sex in it, but there are still themes around things like body image, love, healthy relationships, or more specifically unhealthy relationships that you can discuss. So I am going to get into some of those themes, and I'm going to give you questions that you can ask your kids if you have also gone to see this movie with your family, or if you're going to see this movie with your family. An aspect of the movie that I actually didn't like, it was probably the only thing in the movie that I really didn't like, and that is Thor and his body. We see as the movie goes along that Thor is, he's deeply traumatized and deeply affected by, the events of the snapping. He feels like he made a mistake, and because of that mistake, half of life in the universe is gone. He's highly anxious, he's extremely sad, he has isolated himself in New Asgard. He's mostly just kind of chilling out with Korg and Meek and playing Fortnite. And one of the other ways he's found to self-soothe is through drinking heavily and food. And so we see that, over the years, Thor has become fit. He's not the muscle-bound god that we've known from the other movies. He's got the big belly and he's got the soft arms. He also has long hair and a long scraggly beard. And that's fine. I don't have any problem with the idea of Thor putting on weight and, becoming a little softer and getting fat. What I did have a problem with was the fact that, thick Thor was largely played for laughs. Over the weekend, I read and heard reactions from some of my friends and acquaintances who are fat, and a lot of them felt really uncomfortable in those moments when they heard the audience laughing, at Thor's body. They found it hurtful, and I hate that. I hate the idea that people will just go to see a movie to enjoy themselves and will come away feeling, mocked, or that they should be embarrassed or feel badly about their bodies, or that their bodies are something to be laughed at. I really am just not cool with that at all. Something the movie did with Thor's arc that I did appreciate was that in the end, his healing did not involve returning to his muscly body. His healing involved accepting the body that he had, accepting the complicated emotions that he had, and taking a little bit of a step back and letting other people really lead the group. Now that I've gotten through that little rant, here are some questions you can ask your kids about Thor's treatment in this movie. Why do you think the filmmakers played Thor's body for laughs? What are other ways they could have made those scenes funny or lighthearted? Why do you think the filmmakers chose to keep Thor fat through the end of the movie? Now I want to talk about something that I thought the movie did really well, which was portraying a lot of different types of love. We had the deep platonic love between Hawkeye and Nat. We had the unfulfilled, until the end, love between Cap and Peggy. We had, the more established, maturing romance between Tony and Pepper. I was about to call her Gwyneth. Her name is, in the movie, is Pepper. There's the contentious, complicated kind of brotherly love between Tony and Cap. There's the guilt that Tony feels over the unexpressed love that he has for Peter Parker. The Avengers represent this idea of chosen family and the love that we can have for people who are our family, even if we're not legally or biologically related to them. We saw how, as father and son, Tony and Howard Stark had tremendous love for each other, even though, they had let each other down in different ways over the course of their relationship. I think it can also be argued that the Avengers and their associates have deep love for humanity and the world, which is why they work so hard and are willing to go so far to try and protect and avenge everyone. Some questions you can ask your kids about love are, what are the different types of love that you noticed in this movie? How did the different characters show their love? Or how did the different characters sometimes withhold their love? How did love make some things difficult or challenging for certain characters? Finally, I want to talk about the relationship between Nebula and Thanos. This is an unhealthy relationship. We saw at the beginning of the movie that even though Nebula understood that her father, Thanos, was a raving psychopath, and even though she was on board with killing him, that in the moment when he, thanked her and acknowledged that perhaps he had been too hard on her, that still meant something to her on some level. And when the movie went back in time and we saw past Nebula, we were reminded how desperately she wanted his love and she wanted his approval, even though this man was brutal to her, that he had literally ripped her apart and put her back together. She still wanted him to love her. A few questions you can ask your kids about this aspect of the movie are, why do you think Nebula still wanted Thanos to care about her? Why do you think it could be hard for someone to walk away from a relationship with a person who hurts them? Those are all the conversation prompts I have for you. Remember that you do not have to ask your kids all of these questions. You certainly don't have to, and I would advise against asking them all these questions at once, but you could pick, one or two of your favorites and talk it over with your kids and see what they have to say about all of this. In the comments below, let me know if you have seen Avengers Endgame, and if you have seen it, tell me what you think. Now, if you haven't seen it and you're at this point of the video, I guess I just spoiled the shit out of it for you. But you were warned, so that was your choice, and I support your choice to be spoiled. If you enjoyed this video, then please like it and share it, because it really helps out my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. That's all for now. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.